Hello everyone, my greetings to one and all. This is the 8th session on utility analysis. In the previous session, you have understood how does a consumer decide how much to buy of a commodity to get maximum satisfaction. Technically, it is consumer's equilibrium, but that was a theoretical explanation. This can be supported with a tabular as well as a diagrammatic presentation. I am Poonam Vohra from Microeconomics Learning Center, and in this session you will understand how a theoretical explanation is supported by a numerical example presented in a tabular form, and same is then represented through a diagrammatic presentation. So one can easily explain consumer's equilibrium through a diagrammatic explanation also. How should we do it? Let's begin. You have already understood that equilibrium gets attained when marginal utility of commodity X is equal to price of X, assuming 1 util is equal to 1 rupee. And marginal utility of X divided by price of X is same as marginal utility of money when 1 util is not equal to 1 rupee. After having understood the process of equilibrium, let's now understand the same with the help of a tabular presentation. Let's understand the tabular presentation of consumer's equilibrium with the assumption that 1 util is equal to 1 rupee. Units of commodity X consumed, marginal utility in utils as well as in money terms can be found. Price of commodity X is given and constant, that is rupees 10. When 1 unit of commodity X is consumed, marginal utility in util terms as well as in money terms is 20. By comparing it with the price, he finds that marginal utility is greater than the price of X and the difference is 10. So consumption is increased. When 2 units are consumed, marginal utility in utils as well as money terms declines to 16. By comparing it with price, he finds that still marginal utility is greater than price of X with the difference of 4. So consumption is further increased. By consuming third unit, now marginal utility in utils and money terms declines to 10. And by comparing it with price, he finds that marginal utility is exactly same as price of X and there is no difference. This is the equilibrium point. If consumer consumes fourth unit, now marginal utility in utils and money terms falls to 4. By comparing it with price, he finds that marginal utility is less than the price and the difference is by -6. If he further consumes the fifth unit, he does not derive any utility. So marginal utility is 0. By comparing it with price, he finds the difference is -10. So marginal utility is much less than the price of X. By consuming sixth unit, marginal utility further declines and is now negative. By comparing it with price, it is now -16. So marginal utility is still less than price of commodity X. It is not economically viable for the consumer to consume any unit beyond 3 units because all these units would mean cost is much more than the benefit that he derives and he needs to reduce the consumption in order to be in equilibrium. So for equilibrium, following conditions are then met. That is, marginal utility is same as price of commodity X, and beyond that, marginal utility declines. So by consuming 3 units, the consumer is in equilibrium. Continuing further, now the assumption made is that 1 util is not equal to 1 rupee. And marginal utility of money is assumed to be 2. So one has to convert marginal utility of X in util terms to money terms. Let's see how is it done. Units of commodity X consumed. Marginal utility of X in util terms is given. In money terms can be found. Price of commodity X is given and constant, that is 12. And then inference can be made. When 1 unit is consumed, marginal utility of commodity X is 40 utils. When it is converted in money terms, it is 20 utils, simply because marginal utility of money is assumed to be 2. So it is 40 divided by 2. Comparison is then made with the price, and one finds that the ratio of marginal utility in utils to money terms is greater than the price of commodity X. Consumption is increased. When 2 units are consumed, marginal utility in util terms falls to 34. In money terms, it is 17. 34 divided by 2. By comparing it with price, one finds that marginal utility of X in util terms divided by marginal utility in money terms is greater than price of X. So consumption is further increased. Now 3 units are consumed. Marginal utility further declines to 24. In money terms, it is 12. By comparing it with price, the consumer finds himself to be in equilibrium because marginal utility is now equal to price of commodity X. If the consumer consumes another unit, marginal utility further declines to 16. In money terms, it is now 8. When compared with price, the consumer finds that his benefit is less than the cost. By consuming an additional unit, marginal utility further falls to 8. In money terms, it is now 4, which is much less than the cost that he has to pay. So the consumer has to decrease consumption in order to be in equilibrium. Hence, the consumer gets equilibrium only when he consumes 3 units and he finds that the benefit he receives is exactly same as the cost he has to pay. So both the conditions get satisfied at this point. One, the ratio of marginal utility in utils and in money terms is exactly same as price of commodity X, and by consuming more, marginal utility declines. Consumer's equilibrium can be shown diagrammatically too. For that, units consumed are taken on x-axis, marginal utility and price on y-axis. So all the points of consumption and marginal utility derived from such consumption is plotted, and by plotting one finds that marginal utility is downward sloping curve. Then price of commodity X is plotted, which is constant. By such plotting one finds that it is a horizontal straight line curve. One can observe that marginal utility and price coincides at a point where 3 units are consumed. So this is the equilibrium point. Before 3 units are consumed, one finds that marginal utility is much greater than price. So benefit is more than the price till 3 units are consumed. Beyond 3 units, one finds that marginal utility is much less than the price. In all these cases, till units 5. So here, cost is more than the benefit. And by consuming 6th unit, one finds that marginal utility is now negative. Obviously, no other unit is beneficial for the consumer to consume. So the consumer finds that by consuming 3 units, he is in equilibrium. I hope you have understood the tabular as well as diagrammatic presentation of consumer's equilibrium, assuming that the consumer consumes one commodity. In real life, you must have noticed that no consumer consumes just one commodity. Every consumer consumes more than one commodity. So this is not the end of consumer's equilibrium. We need to explore how does he attain equilibrium when more than one commodity is consumed. This shall be discussed in the next session. Till then, keep reading, keep learning.